Master Windu. I take it General Grievous has been destroyed then. I must say you're here sooner than expected.
In the name of the Galactic Senate of the Republic, you're under arrest, Chancellor.
Are you threatening me, Master Jedi?
The Senate will decide your fate.
I am the Senate.
Not yet.
Hello there. I'm Darren.
And I'm Dougie.
And it's Tuesday. Well, I suppose it's actually Friday, but you know, it's Tuesday where you are, so you know what that means. Mando episode. So yeah, this week's episode was straight in, no kissing. I was like, we might see Ahsoka at the very end. You know, she pulls down her hood and as the meme goes, yeets Baby Yoda over her shoulder. But no, it opens up and there she is, lightsabers in hand. She takes out a few guards. It looked awesome. Though like you were saying, and I completely agree, it kind of looks a little bit off.
Yeah. I don't know if it's just because we're going from like a cartoon to live action, but for me, it was the voice.
Yeah.
It was because the voice is noticeably different. I think it's just because Ashley Eckstein embodies that voice. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I just don't know.
Yeah. Okay, it was awesome to see her on screen, but yes, there was even a thing of like, pretty sure in Rebels her tentacles are a little bit just longer. I think it makes her look younger or something.
Yeah, because they're shorter when she's younger.
Yeah.
So the head tails, they're part of the Montral. Basically, that blue and white stripy bit that sort of goes over her head, they call like the whole thing the Montral.
The more you know.
So yeah, the horns as well as the head tails that drip down, that's considered like one thing.
It's a minor criticism because it's awesome seeing Ahsoka, obviously. I love how the opening of this episode was directed. It reminded me so much of The Evil Dead. That scene where like the tree's coming to get you. Oh, it was so cool. And yeah, Chekhov's ball. So we were sitting and Baby Yoda comes out of the ship with a ball. Din's like, right, give me that. No. Puts it in his sack and like just turned to me and we're like, that's coming back.
Yeah, it was because he said this needs to stay on the ship and then he put it in his pocket. It was just like, they're going to use that.
Yeah.
You know, it's Chekhov's ball, as you were saying.
So yeah, Mando makes his way up to this Imperial occupied city, small town-ish, with a big wall, walks in, meets the magistrate, and she's slobbering away, offers him this spear if he can kill Ahsoka Tano, and the spear is made out of Beskar, so he's like, yes, no worries, that'll do. And he then walks into the forest, sees some really cool creatures, and then our first live-action appearance of the Moray.
Was it actually the Moray?
Yeah, you nailed it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, there's the daughter's bird, and he was like, oh yes, the Moray. But yeah, so and then we move on to like Ahsoka kind of assessing what's happening, and then it hits us. She turns around and she's like, it's a Grogu. Grogu. We officially get the baby's name. It's Grogu.
Yeah.
50-year-old baby.
Yeah.
And it was trained as a Jedi.
Yeah. In the Jedi Temple on Coruscant, which means I'm putting it out there, I think this is Yoda and Yaddle's baby. Because where else are you going to get one of that species? You know? He was on the Jedi Temple in Coruscant at the right time. 50 years ago was the right time. And like, those were the only two at that time.
Well, I don't know. He doesn't have the ginger quiff of Yaddle, so... He also, it turns out, he survived the Youngling Killer 9000. That or else he actually beat Anakin. We move on. Ahsoka tests baby Grogu, and she tries to get him to lift a stone, and he's like, he yeets the stone.
Now return the stone to me, Grogu.
No, they're minerals!
He's like, no thanks, don't want to use this stone. And so she gets Din to do the same thing, and Din's like, oh, okay, well, he'll use the ball, and there it is, Chekhov's ball. He whips it out, and Grogu pulls it to his hands. Then Ahsoka refuses to train him.
Yeah, I love the fact how it was just like, I won't train him unless he shows aptitude with the Force. He's not showing aptitude with the Force. Maybe you can encourage him to use the Force. Okay, Din encourages him to use the Force. I can't train him because he has an attachment to you. What? just going round in circles, like.
No, but it does make so much sense just because, as she says, she's like, I can see what happened to the best of us because of attachments, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's a nice explanation, you know. So I mean, the only way forward is for baby Grogu to become a Mandalorian. But yeah, so she then says, right, I'll give you more information if you do this side quest with me. And he's like, no worries, I'll do that. So they go and they take over the town, and we see our first on screen of an HK droid. These aren't the HK-47s from KOTOR. I was severely disappointed that no one was called a meatbag.
Retraction. Did I say that out loud? I apologize, Master. While you are a meatbag, I suppose I should not call you such.
So they tear through these HK droids, they tear through the guards. We move on to the fight between the Magistrate and Ahsoka. And I think this is a big symbolization just to show any newcomers how powerful Beskar is. So Ahsoka fights the Magistrate. The Magistrate has a Beskar spear, and it holds up against lightsabers, and kind of introducing fans to, hang on, here's how lightsabers will hold up against Beskar, here's how Beskar will hold up against lightsabers.
And it also gives a bit more context for the Jedi being ancient enemies of the Mandalorians, because obviously that's revealed in season 1.
Actually, that's a point, yeah.
And so it's like, well, how could Mandalorians fight Jedi? Surely a Jedi would just cut through them. As we see multiple times in this episode, Ahsoka cutting through the troops of the Magistrate as well as the HK droid. She just cuts straight through it with a lightsaber. But when she's fighting Din, he blocks her lightsabers with his gauntlets. And the Magistrate blocks the lightsabers with the Beskar spear. So this is how Mandalorians were able to go toe-to-toe with Jedi.
No, definitely. And that's the thing, there's an excellent explanation in Rebels. Whenever Kanan's training Sabine, there's a second Mandalorian there, and he's talking about how every part of the Mandalorian armor and weaponry is used to compensate for not having force powers and for not having lightsabers. And we can see that whenever they do fight Ahsoka, they can reflect blaster fire, so we use flamethrowers. They can cut you in half with lightsabers, so we use Beskar. We have repulsors to make up for not being able to force push them away. We have jetpacks and not be able to jump. It was really nice to see that we, again, another live action kind of thing of a Jedi versus a Mandalorian. They seemed so evenly matched in so many ways, as in like there was always an answer for each other's moves.
Yeah.
So we fight the Magistrate, and we find out that Ahsoka is looking for Thrawn. She name drops the T word.
If you want to know more about Thrawn,
oh yeah, join us on Fridays, every Friday for the next good long time, because we're going through the Thrawn trilogy chapter by chapter. So we end with Ahsoka being like, nah, I'm not training him, but he can pick his own path. She name drops another T word. She name drops Tython, which is awesome if you played any of the Old Republic games or read any of the old comics.
So Tython, again, for anyone who doesn't know, because this is a bit more obscure, but Tython was the home planet of the Jedi, but it was like 25,000 years before the original trilogy. The Jedi started on Tython. So it'll be interesting to see how they deal with Tython, because Tython, it was a bit weird, bit of a weird place.
Oh yeah, I'm just hoping they recanonize the Rakatan.
Is this just one man's mission to recanonize legends?
One bit at a time. So my theory then is, because we now see Ahsoka without Sabine, so does that mean we have in fact found Ezra?
Yeah, you pointed out as well, she said if Grogu sits on the top of that mountain and reaches out and chooses his own path, as he reaches out, another Jedi might feel his presence and be drawn to him. So you immediately said Ezra's going to be coming up then. And I think, yeah, it'll either be Ezra or Luke, as you said, because who else are they going to bring in, you know? Because Rebels ends with Thrawn and Ezra being shot off into hyperspace and being lost. And as you said, Ahsoka Tano and Sabine at the end of Rebels are going off to find Ezra. So either Ezra's been found, or he's still with Thrawn, or Thrawn might be another clue as to where Ezra is. You know, there's all these possible connections between all these characters because they just have such a history together, and it's so beautiful to see it coming through.
Oh yeah, so exciting.
And you gotta love Dave Filoni, like, because he wrote and directed this episode, didn't he? Yeah. So, you know, of course, the episode that he writes and directs, we've got Ahsoka Tano name dropping Thrawn and Tython and other potential Jedi.
So good.
You know.
Well, that's about all we have time for this video. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed it. And yeah, we're releasing content every Tuesday and Friday, so listen out for more to come.
Yep. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
But this belongs with the Mandalorian.